Hey guys, my name is Jennifer and I am Genevieve Designs. We are continuing on with our crafty companion. We are making, currently we're making the crafty workstation with the crafty dividers on top. So we've already done the crafty cubbies. Let me pull them over here. Whoops, and there's my extra piece. I have made 5 crafty cubbies, 3 of the size C and 2 of the size B, which kind of small, medium, and large is basically what they are. So they are ready to go, and then I have my extra bottom piece already cut. So the video for the crafty cubbies will be linked up here and down below. There's also a playlist specifically for this crafty workstation with the crafty dividers. It will be also linked down below. And these are my printable templates that are available in my Etsy shop that will also be linked down below. And if you want to check out the products that I'm using, I have an Amazon list just for that, and it's called Crafty Companion. So every video that I make with this set of templates, you can go to that Amazon list and you can find the products that I use. For example, like the medium weight chipboard is listed in there. You can just go to that list. Again, it's linked below. You hit that, you look at the list, you find the chipboard, you hit that picture, and then it'll give you all the information you need to know about that chipboard. Let's start with let's get to the crafty divider. Oh, this is my workbook. This, I will put a link to the video here and down below. I highly suggest that you make a workbook for this, or make it as we go, or use a binder or a folder with page protectors. There's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of, the page numbers are duplicated, so they're in sections. So the Crafty Cubbies is a section, and it starts with page 1, right? Page 2, page 3. The Crafty Trays is a section, and it starts with page 1, page 2, page 3. So I highly suggest that you make a workbook for this set of templates, or make one as you go. Either way. So this is the Crafty Divider. Bring it up close. I would show you the actual thing, but it's got stuff in it. You can make it a standalone, just like that, or you can make it to go on top of our crafty workstation. So we're currently making the one that's going on top of the crafty workstation. Alright, so I've already actually traced everything I need and cut it out to save time. But in the Crafty Divider section, I'm using medium weight chipboard. You need 2 of page number 1. These are the side panels, and also on page number 1 it tells you everything you need to make one of these dividers. So I've already cut out 2 of page number 1. And then page number 2 is, this is the base and the back. So you need 2 of those, which is this big part here. And then this part right here is the front panel of the Crafty Divider, and you need 1 of those. It's also on page 2. And then, oops, these are scraps from cutting off the 2 side panels. And then on page number 3 are the crafty dividers themselves. So there's a tall panel, medium panel, and short panel. And I have traced all 3 of them out and cut all 3 of them out. So that's page 3. So I ended up using 3 pieces of 12 by 12 chipboard, and this is what's left of that. So I'm trying to be really good about not using too much, you know, not being too wasteful. With my chipboard, trying to use it up the best I can. Okay, so what I used to cut this chipboard is a Tim Holtz ruler and a Scotch craft knife. These are listed in my Amazon list. This is my favorite because you can break off each little section there to get a fresh new craft knife, utility knife. So and it's reasonably priced too. So that's what I used to cut all my chipboard. Okay, so let's see. Let me put we don't need these just right yet, so I'm going to put those aside. So we've got a base, and we've got a back, and we've got our 2 side panels, and we got our front panel. Okay, so what we're going to do, just like we've done with the Crafty Cubbies, and like the garbage bowl and the ink tray. We've already done this, so I will link that video up here and below as well. I'm just going to use a little bit of just transparent, regular old office Scotch tape, and I'm going to tape these together just to keep them together, just so that I know how, you know, I know what's going on. And then I'm going to tape this little front panel here. I'm going to tape it to the front here. Right? So this is the front and this is the back. Okay, so these are shaped kind of funny, right? But there is a flat spot here. See that? There's two different flat spots, but I don't know how the best to tell you. So this one is a 90-degree angle and this one is not. So the one with the 90-degree angle is going to be attached to this front piece. So what we want to do is we want to take them and lay them out like this. So I'm going to attach just with the little cheapy old office transparent tape. I called it Scotch. It is Scotch brand, but that's just happened to be what I purchased. And it works better if you use two hands too, obviously. Okay, and then I'm going to attach this one over here. So again, this is the 90-degree angle part. See? That's what you want to be on the front panel. So it's going to fold up like this and get attached. Okay? Alright, so now we need some construction strips. Okay, so I've already got some that I've already made. And in the last video where we made the Crafty Cubbies, I will, in that video, I'll have it linked below. I will also have a timestamp, stamps, plural, in the description box of that video so that you can go watch that video and see how I made these strips specifically. That way I'm not repeating myself so much. So, yeah, so if you want to see how I made these strips, find that video down below. It's the Crafty Cubbies video. And click on that and then go to its description box and find the timestamp for the construction strips. Okay, so I'm just laying that across there and I'm marking it with a pencil, and I'm going to use my Tim Holtz scissors. I'm going to trim that down. I'm going to need two that size, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that down. So I've got those two, and then I'm going to need these two. And I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm going to mark it. So I need two of those. Right. So I need two of those, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, this will also work for here too. Yeah, so I'm gonna, and then you actually need four of those. I always forget to say early on in my video, people remind me to do this all the time and I forget. Be sure to give my video a thumbs up if you like it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and be sure to share my videos. It really does help out a lot. So be sure to do that. I would be super thankful. Alright, so these already have the tape on the back. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of notch. I'm going to fold them in half and just kind of notch them. These are 1-inch strips. And I'm going to do the same for all of these. Let's just go ahead and... Alright, I have all the strips notched. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing off of one of the long ones here. And I'm just going to line that up where the two pieces meet both ends there, and that way it just makes a nice smooth fold when we go to actually put it together. Go ahead and burnish that down. I'm going to grab the other long one. This is just a We Are Memory Keepers stylus. It comes in a set of 3. I think it's a set of 3, but I like the pointy end to help get the tape backing off of there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, attach that down there, match it up down here, burnish that down, Teflon bone folder. I don't know if I said that already. Okay, so then we can attach these 2 side pieces. You don't have to already have the scored 1-inch pieces. It will fold, it just won't be as neat of a fold. So it just kind of gives you a little bit of extra help. Okay. Burnish that down really good. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these pieces and remove the backing. I'm going to try to fold that in half. We're going to start at this bottom corner here on this little wing, this little side wing, and we're going to line that all the way up. Oh, I forgot a couple pieces. That's okay. And so since we've already got that exposed, we're going to bring those up and we're going to match them up. I'm going to try to stay in camera here. We're going to match them up just like that. Leaving that little bit of a empty 90-degree spot. Can you see that? You don't want to smoosh it to where it's like even. You want to go ahead and keep that gap there. I know it's hard to see. You want to go ahead and leave that little triangle dip out. I guess it's a triangle. Right, so there's one, and then let's do this other side. Right, again, we're going to start at the bottom here. We're going to work our way up. Right, and then we're going to bring those 2 pieces together, matching the 2 inside edges, not the 2 outside. Right. Can you see that? I do have a little bit of an overhang. I'm going to go ahead and, ooh, my scissors are getting gummy. That's what happens when you use a lot of adhesive. Okay, so then these 2 pieces here, since I've got these little leftovers, I'm just going to measure one, and then we'll go ahead and cut these 2. Right, and then we're going to tab these. Boop. I said boop. Goodness. Okay, so then we're going to take this off. We're going to add it to the edge of this front panel here, like that. Well, let's go ahead and add this one too. Let me burnish that down just a little. Okay. So now we're going to bring this in and we're going to match those 2 inside edges. in the front panel there. I'm going to tilt this on its side and burnish. Okay, so now we've got kind of the base. I've got some little writing there. I want to remember to do some things. We've got our base for the divider section, right? Okay, next let's prepare our actual dividers. So because I am wrapping the chipboard, where did those other two go? I'm going to show you just real quickly the difference. This chipboard is not wrapped, right? And you can see it's kind of unfinished looking and all of that. And then this one is wrapped. And it's wrapped, and also in this particular case, since I'm using the white cardstock, I need to wrap certain edges so that it looks like it looks like a continuous piece, or cohesive piece, so it looks like a cohesive piece. If you were just using, you know, the chipboard color and you were using some craft cardstock instead of white, you wouldn't have to do all of this that I'm getting ready to do. But because I'm using the white and because I'm wrapping my edges, my raw edges, I'm gonna wrap these pieces. So I think what I'm gonna do is, let me get my, this is a Score-Pal scoring mat. It's too big. Let's see. I think what I'll do is I'm going to grab this big old honkin' roll, and you can really get a good deal on this tape, so I don't feel like I'm being wasteful. Actually, I think I'm going to do the cardstock instead. Let me grab that. I think one piece might be enough. Alright, so this is just white cardstock, 65 pound, 12 by 12 from Recollections. So I think what I'll do, let me get this back out. So I'll cover the back of the cardstock. I got something on my tape. With all of this tape, I think this is the way I want to do it. So I'm going to match up the one edge. Did I do a good job? I think I did. And I'm going to take my craft knife and slice that. The scrapbook.com tape I'll have linked special below, but in my Amazon list it's the Score-Pal Suquain, I forget what brand, Suquain tape, 6-inch row. You don't have to use the 6-inch row. You can totally do it the old-fashioned way, or you can use liquid glue. I have found, with all the different ones that I've made, I have found that this is very much faster. But again, it's totally personal preference. Dang, I did a good job on that. Go me. Okay, hopefully we won't need more than that. Okay, I'm gonna, looks like I might need a little bit, but before I add that, let's see. So I can wrap this one easy. I can wrap this one, and I can wrap this, yeah. So we didn't need all of this over here. So let me go ahead and like mark it with my Sharpie, and then I'll cut that off because they're the same length. So I'm just going to take it, mark it with my Sharpie. Okay, I am going to cut that now where I marked it, so I'm going to cut it out probably a little bit wider than where I marked it, just in case. Now, one thing about having the score tape on here, it does make your ruler want to slip around. Okay, so I went right past where I marked it, I think, just in case. So we can use that for something else. Okay, so I'm going to actually start with the little one because it's going to be up front and center. So I'm also going to keep this just in case I have some leftover bits of tape. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this on here. I'm going to leave about, I guess I could have it on my mat here. I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch or so-ish to wrap around the edge. Right. Whoa. I might have laid that on there crooked. Whoops. Looks like I did. Well, let's try to straighten that up. Alright, I'm going to measure about 1/2 inch or so-ish away from the edge. Slice that off. I'm going to move that aside, and I'm also going to, oops, slice this off, that little bit of extra that I left. Right. So now all I'm going to do is, obviously I'm just wrapping the two long sides, so I'm going to tilt it up on its side here. And I'm just going to wrap it around. I'm going to use my bone folder to help with that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Doesn't look like it was cut cleanly. That's okay. Right? So now, no matter which way you look at it, it's going to have a nice clean edge on both ends, and I'm going to ink the whole thing up. So there's one. Alright, let's do the next one. Do you think I can get this on here? Just in the, yep, I sure can. So I'm going to lay this on here right to that edge. Lay it down. Perfect. Flip this around. I'm just going to cut where I left that gap. You could, if you really wanted to, you could wrap the back side as well, but I don't feel like you're going to see the back side unless you're getting over top of your workstation all the time. So I don't mat the back side or anything. I just leave it be. Right, and so fold that around. And I almost debated on not doing the two larger ones because they're in the back. You're not really going to see the bottom. Like, I was just thinking about just wrapping the top. But I thought, you know what? You don't do that. Do both sides. Do top and bottom. Much cleaner look that way. Okay, well, right, there's two, and then here is the third. So we're obviously not going to need all of this, so let's do it this way. Once again, I'm going to try to slice it, the extra off the best I can. Guess I could have waited. I could wait. No, I don't want to pull the tape backing off. I guess I could just try to make it an inch. No. right? And I'll put that aside for another use. Okay. Now I can remove this backing. And again, I'm going to keep those backings just in case. And I'm going to match one edge up. Oh no. It's a little shorter on one end. That's okay. That's okay. We'll ink it up and nobody will know. So now I've got all 3 dividers wrapped, the top and bottom edges, and we didn't need to wrap the sides because they're going to be up against the sides here. So we don't need to wrap those. What do we need to do next? We might as well go ahead and prepare, or actually, I'm going to move these, or move that. I'm going to go ahead and ink them up, I think. So I'm just using Distress Ink and Vintage Photo, right? And a blending tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink the edges and the top. If you want to see how we made that ink tray, it's at the garbage bowl and ink tray video. I'm kind of being a little sloppy, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do these other 2, and then I'll be right back. I need to make some strips to attach the dividers into here, but before I do that, I need to do something else because I need it to dry. So I'm going to grab my little palette here, and I'm going to smoosh some Vintage Photo on there, just like that. I'm going to get it wet with just regular old water and take a paintbrush, and I'm going to go ahead and get these inside joints so that they won't be super stark white if they happen to be seen at some point. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that so it could be drying. So this is just for the inside. I guess you could do it on the outside too if you really wanted to when you're done, when you're said and done. I mean, I don't think you'll see this joint down there at the bottom, but you never know. You might get over top of it and be like, oh gosh, I missed that. Dang it. Because that's the kind of stuff I do. I say, oh gosh, I missed that. Dang it. Really, honestly and truly. Okay, now I'm gonna find a place to safely move this aside. Let me move these pieces and put it down here. So I might need that again for too long. Okay. So now I'm going to let those dry. And so I just cut some 1-inch strips out of my cardstock. And now I'm going to score them right down the middle. I just grabbed whatever leftover sheet of white cardstock I had sitting right here. I don't know, I don't even know how many strips I got. I think I got 6 strips, maybe 7 out of it. And this is, did I already show you my cool Teflon pencil stylus thingy-mabob? It's really cool. It's Dress My Craft. It's linked in my Amazon. And I might have it linked to another store. I can't remember. I am recording these early, like ahead of time, so feel free to ask me questions, but I may not be able to answer you right away in video because I like to answer in video. Because I'm trying to pre-record before I even, whoops, at this moment, this template hasn't even been released yet. So now we want to go ahead and prep these. We're folding them in half and burnishing them, folding them at the score. The next thing I want to do is I think I'm going to cut, I don't know. I feel like it might be a little wasteful. Let me see. Those pieces can be used for other things. I feel like I want to cut them down though. I don't know. Like, will that be big enough? No. So I think I'm gonna, we need one for each, we need one long one for each of the dividers. I'm just marking it. I don't know why I was holding it. Marking it on the back side there. So I need 3 of these. And this is optional, this part right here. If you don't want to attach this to the bottom part to be attached, then you don't need those 3. But we've got these 3, and then we need, I better go ahead and do a hose strip. Maybe 2 strips. That way I don't have to. So I'm going to set 2 strips aside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 3/8 of an inch. This is score tape, and I'm going to put it on either side of this score. If you only have 1/4 of an inch score tape, then make your strips smaller. Make them like 3/4 of an inch and score it down the middle and use your 1/4 of an inch. That you want most of the strip to have tape on it on either side of that score. Okay, so now I've got the tape on all of these pieces, so I'm just gonna burnish the tape down really good. You wanna make sure there's good contact. So these 3, I'm gonna set aside so I don't accidentally cut them, but those 3 are for the bottoms of the dividers. Now we need to do the side pieces. So I'm just gonna lay this on here, and I'm gonna mark it. So I need 2 of these for that piece. And then alright, so I'm going to lay this on here, mark it. I need 2 for this. That's not quite long enough. I was going to say, where's the other one? Okay. Let's see, I probably could have used, no, those are still too small. Set that aside. I don't think I'm going to need that. Oh, yes I will. I probably will. Yes, I will. Okay, and then I need 2 that are this size. There's a lot to this project, you guys. There's a lot. And I need 1 more. There's just a lot of steps, so it's just going to take time. So don't get frustrated while you're working. Just stay calm, remain calm, and everything will be fine. Alright, so now I'm going to take all of these pieces that I just cut, and I'm going to tab them in just a little bit. So I'm going to do that to all of the pieces, and then I'll be right back. I have everything tabbed. So first I'm just going to start by attaching the bottom strip to each one of these. I'm just going to take one side off, and I'm going to line it up to the we'll pick an edge because there's nothing on there right now that determines up or down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, did I cut it a little long? That's okay. If you cut things a little long, just snip it off of there. Right, so you're going to go ahead and do that to all 3 pieces. Right, add the bottom piece, and then you want to come back and add the 2 side pieces. So again, we're taking just one side off, matching it up to that edge, burnishing it down. And then let's do the other side. Match it up to the edge, burnish it down. So you should have a piece that looks like this when you're finished. So all 3 of them should look just like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I've got them all 3 prepped and ready to go. But before we can add these in, we have to halfway mat the side panels because we need to mark them so that we can add them in accurately. So in your Crafty Divider section, you're going to want to print off page 5M. That is the inside mat for the side panels. So I printed off I think I'm going to use the coffee stain for this entire set of projects as the mats for the inside. I didn't do it on the garbage bows just because you're going to see that a lot. So I just figured I'd give you something prettier to look at. So I'm going to cut these 2 out. But while I'm at it, I also printed off page 6M, which is this page right here. I think that's all I'm going to do. This is 6M. This is the mats for the divider panels. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these 3 out. This is 110-pound white cardstock from Staples. Use whatever you want. You can print on regular copy paper for the mats on the inside. It does not matter. You do not have to use heavy cardstock. And not all cardstock is created equally, so keep that in mind. You use what your favorite is. Alright, I'm going to cut all of these out, and then I'm going to ink them up, I think, and then I'll be back. They're cut out, and they're inked. And I didn't like ink, because they print off with that distressed edge anyway. I just did the tops, just so you didn't see the white paper. You know, the edges. So I guess first what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mat these dividers. And I'm just going to use, this is art glitter glue. It dries clear. So I'm just going to go ahead and, do I want these to go a certain way? I guess it doesn't really matter. So I'm literally just going to kind of get close to the edge. You could use your tape, or you could use a tape runner, or you could use your favorite glue. Whatever. I like art glitter glue. It holds strong, it dries fast, and it's pretty reasonable price-wise. Like my Fabri-Tac, my Fabri-Tac is my ultimate favorite. If I had to pick one glue, I would pick that one. But it's pricey, so it can be pricey, but it's well worth it. Okay, so there is one of them matted. Boy, it looks totally different now, doesn't it? Alright, so let me mat the next one. But in reality, best case scenario is art glitter glue, Fabri-Tac, and strong double-sided adhesive is what you need. That's what you need in your life if you're going to create with paper, in my opinion. Those are my favorite adhesives. One's a white glue, one's a clear glue, one's water-based. One's acetone based. And then of course the double-sided tape. Boy, I'm getting all kinds of phone calls today. It's kind of getting on my nerves. It's very distracting. I'm going to scoop this one up to the top a little bit because you're not going to see the bottom. I guess I could have pointed out to you guys too that you could use whichever dividers you want. If you just want to use one or two, or you like all of them, either way, you don't have to use all three. But I like them because I like to separate things out. Like, I like to separate my sticker sheets and all of that different stuff, my different elements that I'm using, my hole reinforcements, all of that. I like them to stack on their own. So that is why I do that. Oops. There we go. I need to clean my tip out. Okay, so the next thing I want to think about is putting these mats on. So there's one for each side. And they fit pretty good and snug. Mine actually fit too good and too snug. I think I'm going to have to take a little bit off. Of these, just a hair, I think. Sometimes I cut perfectly, sometimes I don't. See, that's the good thing about these types of things is if I cut this piece a little bit shorter on the height, then I can adjust my mat accordingly. So I am not at all concerned. Let's see. I think I'm going to take off a smidge off the bottom. Just a smidge. Because you're not going to see the bottom as much as you will the rest of it. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Okay, then let me check this one once again. Yeah, just a little bit off at the bottom. Okay, so remember I said we're going to have to wrap these edges. So I am not going to attach these all the way down. I'm only going to attach them down. Whoops. I'm only going to attach them down to the bottom because I need to be able to move them out of the way. I cut it crooked, I believe. When I go to wrap this edge. So, let's see. I'll be darned if I didn't, if I still don't. I'll get it right. We'll just keep making a little minor adjustment. There we go. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place glue on the bottom. Well, let me go ahead and ink that back up just in case you see it. So that, or glue. I'm going to put ink. Did I say ink? I'm not even sure, you guys. So I'm just going to put glue on the very bottom of it. Right, and then I'm just going to attach it down to the bottom. And then we can move it out of the way. Okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my art glitter glue. Right, I'm just going to literally just attach it down at the bottom. But I'm going to match up the top where I want it. And I'm going to smoosh it down. I know that seems kind of weird. Matter of fact, I'm going to clip it because we're going to have to mark it here in a minute. So I'm just going to clip it there. Okay, and then same, let me double check this one. Yep. Put glue on the bottom. It'll make sense here in a minute. I hope, anyway. We don't want to do a whole lot of wrapping the edges right this minute because we still got to put the workstation together. So I'm going to flip this on the side, moosh that down, and then I'm going to clip that up there. Okay. All right, in order to get these put in the right spot, we're going to go back to the Crafty Dividers. We're going to get from our workbook, we're going to get page number 1. It has these weird lines on it. We need that this time. And I'm also going to grab the, I think I'm going to grab this, I think I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use, on page number 3, I'm going to use this short panel because I'm going to need to draw a line across the bottom as well. So what we're going to do, right, we got this, it's exactly the shape of that piece, right? So we are going to, whoa. We're going to be very careful to not mess things up. So we're going to take this first little section here and we're going to fold it back just like that. We're going to butt that section up to the very end, up to that front panel right there. I'm going to try to make it so you can see. We're going to butt that up there, right? Can you see? And then we're going to draw a line with a pencil, a faint line. You don't have to be all crazy, right? So we're going to be careful. That's got tape on the back. So there's barely a bit of a line there. You're not going to be able to see it. Yeah, right there. So then we're going to then fold 2 sections back. We're going to butt that up to the front panel here, right? And we're going to draw a line, right? And then for the last one, we're going to fold all 3 over, but then we're going to have to fold this one back. Well, actually, we're going to have to fold them like this. But all 3 sections are folded. We're going to butt that up to the front panel, right? And then draw a line. So now we've got 3 lines at the exact same angle as this piece here and exact same angle as the back. And then we're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to do it the other way this time, I think. So I'm going to fold the 1 section back. Whoops. Draw a line. Fold 2 sections back. Draw a line. Fold 3 sections back. Draw a line. Okay, so you're done with that. Now I'm going to take this piece here. It might be too big, and I'm going to match it up line for line, and I'm going to draw a line going all the way across for all 3 of those dividers, and it should match up perfectly. You know, I thought a long time about how to get this to work. The easiest way to do this, you know, where you know it's going to match. I mean, I worked on this part for a very, very long time. And I like it. I think this is the easiest possible way. In my mind. But if you have a better way, then you do your way. Okay, can you see the 3 lines there? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start with the back panel, right? And we are going to, goodness, I'm so worried. I guess I could. I need to glue a little bit more down on this edge. I mean, I know I'm going to be pulling back a little. I just need it to be a little bit more secure right there. Okay. going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. And if we weren't wrapping the edges, that would not matter at all. We just glue it all down and keep on trucking. Okay, so we want to remove the backing off of that bottom piece of tape. And this can be kind of tricky, especially since I can't get my head over top of it, but I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to do the best I can. Oh, see, I hate that. I should have waited until I put these dividers in before I did this piece right here. Okay, so you're going to have to push just ever so slightly. You just want to kind of line that up to that line, and then you want to press that down. Use your bone folder. You really want to give it a good, whoops, you don't want to rip it. You want to give it a good press, right? Then you want to fold these little pieces in. Remove the backing. You go ahead and remove the backing off of both. And then you want to line it up with that line that you drew on the side there. Alright, we're going to burnish that in, and voila. You've got your first divider in there. Before we go any further though, I'm going to use some tape. This is purple tape by iCraft. It's a removable tape. You know what else I found? I found this purple painter's tape. It's for delicate surfaces. I was going to experiment with that, but I'm not going to use it right this second. I'm going to use this. I wanted to just kind of support these corners real quick because I'm afraid I'm going to put too much pressure on them, and I don't want to do that. Right, I want to keep it square. So I'm going to try anyway to support this corner. This is going to be removed. It's not going to stay. So I don't want anybody to panic on me. Okay. Let's see if that helps. I just literally just trying to keep it square. Alright, next one is the medium one. Let's go ahead, remove the backing off of the bottom piece. Then we're going to put this in here. We're going to line it up to that line. It'll be easier for you guys because you'll be able to put your head over top of it. And then we're going to stick it down, burnish it down without tearing it like I tore that little bit of that little one there. We're going to remove the backing off of these two side strips. And then we're going to find that pencil mark, line it up, press, line it up, press, flip it over, burnish, burnish. You can see a little bit of I didn't angle it enough. I can't get my thing in there. That's alright, I can use my paintbrush, can't I? We'll just take that white right off of there. Just get a little bit. So it's not so white, right? I'll probably have to do that for all of them. So I'll wait and do that later. Well, no, if I don't do it now, I'll forget. You can't do 3 and not do the last one, right? Okay, one more. So I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of the long piece. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of all of them. It's a little bit easier. We're in a tight little space right there. Once again, I'm going to lay this in here. I'm going to line it up at the line. See how I'm kind of putting pressure on there with my hand? I don't even mean to. Right, you just line it up. Right, then you want to tilt it up. Oh, hope I got that on there. I hope I didn't adjust it. Right, burnish that down. Then we're going to line up the side pieces. Boom, boom. Let's go ahead and burnish that a little bit more. Get that. That. Okay. All three of those panels are in. All right. I didn't do a very good job. I'm going to do it again. I just want to try to disguise this white just a little bit better. So I'm just going to go in and tint the whole thing, I think. So the other parts are going to be covered up. Like these whites things are going to be covered up. So I'm not worried about that. Yeah, much better. Okay, so there is a panel. I don't have a mat for these pieces, just simply because I feel like they're not going to be seen, but I do have a mat for, I feel like I put this one in crooked. I don't think I did, but I feel like it might be. If it is, it is. Oh well. I think it'd be fine. I do have a mat for this section here, but I don't have a mat for there. You could mat the bottom with the same piece you mat the back with. And then of course there's a mat for here, but we're gonna wait until we wrap these edges. We just had to add these two pieces here. Okay, you guys, I think we're gonna stop here. So this is the beginnings of the Crafty Divider. It goes on top of the stack of Crafty Cubbies that we made. So we'll put that together in the next video. But this is how far you need to be in order to make your workstation the way I'm making it. This is how far you need to be. And remember to leave these open so that we can wrap that edge with the white, wrap that chipboard edge. So the next video, we'll assemble the Crafty Dividers to the top of the Crafty Cubbies. We'll make the workstation. We'll assemble the workstation. Alright, you guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the description box below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so before you leave. And don't forget to ring the bell. Don't forget to share my video. That's really, really helpful. And there should be other videos here on the screen that you might enjoy watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.